LearningWorks hosted the second in an ongoing series of community conversations at the Portland Public Library on October 25th. The guest speakers were Commissioner Angela Ferretti from the Maine Department of Education, Chancellor Richard Patenaude from the University of Maine System, and Glenn Cummings, President and Executive Director, Goodwill Hinckley School, and the former U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of Education. The first speaker was Commissioner Angela Ferretti, speaking about the Maine Department of Education's commitment to students.
The current system, as you heard from the eloquent stories of Sierra and Montague, are not designed to serve all kids. They're designed to compare people to one another. They're designed on the basis of our zip code and our genetic code rather than the future and the possibility that all children present to us. We need to scale up what that looks like for next generation learning for all kids. The three elements that you will see in these islands of excellence are these schools have personalized learning that occurs anytime, anywhere, and results, not just the inputs, but the outputs that result in world-class knowledge of all students. We have to have student learning experiences that are personalized, that have world-class knowledge and skills, that are authentic with the student voice, and as I mentioned earlier, performance-based, comprehensive systems of support, anytime, anywhere learning. That's the mantra, the vision, the platform from which the Maine Department of Education has to function from.
Chancellor Patenaude spoke about the university's goal for all students to succeed.
It is very easy to think about trying to move a student from this environment into a four-year higher education environment, and that's often not fair to the student. We talk about fit. You've got to enter the system at the point and at the place where you're comfortable, so that when you look around, you feel like you belong there. Second point, higher education's mission is broadening and evolving. Our conversation with you will help us do that in a way that makes sense. We look at the need for an educated workforce, but more importantly, we now fully understand that we have to help all students succeed. Third point I'd like to make to you. There are many programs and supports in place. How do we communicate that?
Glenn Cummings spoke about what we need to do to help students to succeed.
When we look at education, what seems to matter is when you have what I call the 3 R's, and what many of us in school reform call the 3 R's. You have to have rigor. You have to have the expectations that students will learn something. Believe it or not, I know that's counterintuitive because people say, if you raise those standards too much, they'll fail. Guess what? People like to be asked to do good things and things worthy of them. Secondly, you've got to have relationships. You've got to build institutions where somebody doesn't have to knock on the door if they're a student, but instead, people know how to guide them, and it's built into the institution. They have to like them. The second thing I would add is that I would have students when I was teaching at USM or teaching at SMCC, about this time of year, I said this at USM the other day, that would come to me and say to me, I have to leave your class. And it would be a microeconomics class. I say, you're doing fine. This is not an easy class. Stick with it. You'll be great. And the student will say, I just lost the brakes in my car. And I would say, what? I don't get it. And they would say, listen, if I don't have my car working, I can't get to work, and I can't pay for my apartment because I'll be homeless. I won't have anything to eat. I don't have an option of going home. And here I am trying to work full-time, and I'm trying to get my classes and take as many classes as I possibly can. And I would say, seriously? And they'd say, yeah, I've got to, because if I can't do that, I can't pay. Now, in some cases, I had students who were actually trying to work full-time, trying to work full-time, trying to go to school full-time, and sometimes sending money home to their parents because they had a mentally ill or substance abuse parent, or they had a younger brother or younger sister who was disabled or needed help at home, or the father was unemployed. And so I have students doing all three of those things.
At Community Conversations, this is Leslie McVeign for Community Update.